Welcome back to another sweet and sour episode of the Surviving Scamazon podcast. So, in this one, we're going to be talking about the Voice of Associate again. So, Voice of Associate Part 2. And we're going to be talking about a lot of small fires going on. Right now, we're in the middle of our Prime Week 2, or our Prime Day 2, which is something they just made up this year, where they're going to try to squeeze a little bit more out of us by doing another Prime Week. How it'll end up, I mean, we'll see. You know, they'll tell us how much money they made and how much, sales were accomplished and stuff. But for the most part, with all that being said, let's go deep into the processes that we're looking at right now. I've already seen a very large uptake of new hires at my facility. That's because they've been just, I guess what they would call cleaning house. But I mean, some of the associates who were just getting in have now realized like what's going on, because they've been there for, honestly, it only takes about 3 to 6 months, maybe 9 at max, before you realize that as a worker at Amazon, you might just be a commodity, or you might just be a little bit exploitable to them. But it's all good. I mean, for the most part, we just got a raise. For most people, the raise wasn't more than $1, or wasn't more than about 80 cents. So it ranges from about 60 cents to 80 cents. Everybody's pretty, in good spirits about that. But in my opinion, I still feel like we deserve a lot more of a raise due to the cost of inflation and also everything that has happened since COVID, just because everything is so expensive right now. And it's just important to make sure your employees are taken care of. There's some other workplace policies that continue. For instance, idle time or rate and TOT. People are still getting written up in different categories of working at Amazon. So if this is the way it works, you can get written up in quality, and you can also get written up in productivity, which could honestly equal out to the same thing. So if you get a first written, you're on it for 30 days. If you get a second written, you're on it for 60 days probation. And then if you get a third written, you're now on it for 90 days of probation, which is like when they really get the most out of you, because at that point, any misstep could mean you're being terminated. So it's very important for you to be on guard and just be very specific and particular about what you're doing at almost just about every minute while you're in the building. Like, it's to the point where if you take a bathroom break that is too long and you're on your second or third written, it could literally cost you your job. And they'll tell you all this stuff like, no, that's not true. Oh, it's not that bad. But these are some of the same, like I said last episode, some of the same AMs and PAs who will try to tell you, we should only use the bathroom once or twice a shift, which is just crazy, because obviously they're doing a different type of work on the computer versus people who are actually doing the physical work in the building. So these people are standing for 10 hours. These people are walking 10 to 15, and in some fulfillment centers, up to 20 miles a day. So when you go home and you tell someone, hey, I'm walking 15 miles a day, it sounds hard to believe, but it's a very harsh reality that quickly gets glossed over, because everyone thinks, oh, well, that's your job. You chose that. You picked that. But it's not always the case. I literally have talked to pregnant women who work at my facility who are like, hey, I and other women, including pregnant women, have been having issues getting accommodations through Amazon. And they also have a slight workers' comp situation that will make it to where they may not take your workers' comp, or they're trying to send you to some internal doctor. I always advise people, hey, if you feel any pain, like you feel an injury that's getting, worse, and it's affecting anything at work, you need to go to your own personal care doctor. You need to schedule an appointment and go ahead and go take care of that, because if you try to do it through internally with Amazon, they're going to try to move you around to different departments and may or may not accept your accommodations. And it's a lot of work to get an accommodation approved on Amazon. It's just the way it is. It's their system. So you got to work around them. Among other things, I mean, there's been a lot of these fires in or outside of the building, like right outside of the building, I guess by the like the corrugate packers where we recycle all of our boxes and stuff. I don't know like every single thing, so I don't want to report fake news, you understand what I'm saying? But there's been like in the last month or so, or even in the last, I'm gonna go with last month, there's been like several fires like right outside of the facilities, and then they'll just be like, taken care of, I guess. But other issues that I want to talk about at the warehouse are just, honestly, with when we get to the VOA board segment of this conversation, it starts to get very interesting because it's not my voice. I'm part of them, but it's like other people speaking on what they have going on at Amazon. So when you see this, it'll be like, I don't want it to be that way. It'll be like direct shots at like facility managers, because as they gave us this raise, they're telling us all this stuff. They try to keep it positive, try to make it seem like everything's all good. But we as the associates, we know it's not good. We've literally had walkouts on this Prime Day this week. And I'm going to probably clip something in that y'all see right here. See what I'm saying? So this says that a bunch of workers actually did a walkout for whatever reason. And this is in Joliet, I believe, that they had a walkout for Prime Day. And there's a bunch of other facilities that are trying to get onto this Prime Day type of walkout theme. And that's just like, it's just like, hey, I'm not just making things up. It's not like it's different at every single warehouse. It is a little different, but it's similar enough to where most people are calling on the same thing: strikes, calling on walkouts, calling on all types of ways to fix their situation at Amazon, or at least make it better. But in my opinion, it's a lot of higher ups that'll just be like, no, it's okay, it's fine. And if you say enough, you could get fired. Really, like if you say enough at Amazon, they will fire you regardless of retaliation or, it being wrong to fire someone for speaking out on the situations they go through at their job. And I also still think the whole situation with food at Amazon is nuts. You're spending close to what you make an hour on a meal that you can't really leave the building. Like, you only have about 30-minute breaks. Most people I know who work at Amazon only have about a 30-minute break, one of which is called scan to scan, which means you literally have to be back at your scanner. You have to be back at your scanner before that 30 minutes is up and about to scan another item. So with that being said, it becomes a rat race to where if you didn't eat breakfast, if you didn't prepare a meal the night before and bring your own food, you're going to be in a situation. You're going to be spending a bunch of money, and you most likely won't be full, and you'll be sent right back to work. And it's just crazy because this is happening at multiple warehouses all over the country. And I know this because I've been to multiple warehouses all over the country. I started out at Jax 2 in Jacksonville, Florida. And then I also moved out to Dallas, DFW 6 or FTW 6. And I remember I was there the day Jeff Bezos himself showed up. Yes, I was there. I was wearing one of these white vests. This is when the white vest thing was like a big deal, and they were trying to make it seem like everything was safe at Amazon. To keep it real with you, some of the associates who work at Amazon are not given enough time to properly use the bathroom and sanitize their hands, because they're going to the bathroom at least 6 times or more in a day. Now this adds up to their productivity rates or productivity quotas, and if you end up being the person who was on the bottom of the list, you're going to get written up. And the worst part is, you're not going to get written up that day. You're going to get written up next week. So even when you have a situation where there's no containers, cages, or product to be, worked, you're going to be taking the fall for that a week later when you don't remember what happened. And they'll just be like, oh, it's whatever. It's okay. It's your fault. It's your problem. And it's like, that's not right. And they know that's not right. A lot of them know that. And I've talked to so many people about it, but there's not really any definitive option for you to go into for that for some reason. Surviving Scamazon Podcast, only on YouTube. Surviving Scamazon Podcast, only on YouTube.